Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zoe's Treasures. My name's Tracy, and as always, here with my husband Noel. Hello, Robin's Closet. I just saw Kelly's Place. Good morning, everybody. Hello, Estate Addicts. Y'all, we have so much to talk about. Rossin, we have so much to talk about today. Of course, Southern Charm. Hello, Millicent. My Fair Closet. My Fair Closets. Good morning. Um, we will talk about shipping. It is not going to be my whole show. Shipping has been talked about ad nauseum yesterday. Everybody and their brother and their cousin and whoever else in their family talked about shipping yesterday. We will cover it because I do have a point that I didn't hear yet. So, hey, Trish, Kaya, hello. I'm grouchy about being up there. Uh-oh, Millicent. I'm sorry. We're going to do shipping first. So we'll cover shipping, and then if that's what you're here for, we're going to cover it, and then you can go back to bed. So a couple of the things we're going to talk about today, kind of give you an idea of what the flow for the next couple of hours. We're going to cover the shipping. We're going to talk about the CEO Challenge. We are announcing our 6 new participants. We are going to do a studio tour. We finally got our new studio done. As you can tell, I'm in a new location. Not necessarily new, just a different side of the room. But we're going to do a studio tour this morning. And then we're going to talk about today's topic, which is a mid-year check-in. So there's a whole lot to pack into a few short hours. But before we do that, there are a few items in the bin as normal for our talk shows. We will be running CEO affirmation cards as giveaways today. And tomorrow, if you are a primitive person, you like Rusty Crusty Primitives, 8 a.m. tomorrow is my once a month primitive show. I will be loading it by this evening, but it's always a good one, so do not miss it. I've got some really cool stuff. You'll actually get a little sneak peek of the Primitives cart when we go out and do a studio tour. So let's talk about shipping. Y'all, you know what the changes are. You have heard them. Anybody who has a TikTok, YouTube, Facebook account had to make public service announcements last night like nobody else had even heard about this ever. Did any of you get a little like, by the time you logged into social media at like 10 o'clock last night, were any of the rest of you kind of like, I'm sick and tired of hearing about this? Thank you, Aaron, it's coming. Yeah, so I think everybody I went on was like, PSA, Whatnot's changed shipping. They announced it 12 hours ago. You're a little late to the game if you're doing a PSA at 10 o'clock last night. Just saying, I know you want your socials and you want your people to follow you. I don't know, maybe be a little more creative, a little more original. Just my opinion. But I'm going to recap the facts very, very quickly, and then I'm going to get to some numbers. So coming August 1st, no flat rate anymore. Priority, the price of priority will be increasing. 1 to 5 pounds will be decreasing by $2.01. So we get a decrease for 1 to 5 pound going ground, and there will be a 4-cent increase up to 82 cents on PWEs. The other, not PWEs, but a less than 1 pound incremental changes going up in weight every few ounces. We'll take a look at what those are in a second. But let's talk about some of the stuff I heard yesterday. And if you heard any ridiculous comments, please feel free to put them in the chat because I would love to address the ridiculous comments, the hysteria, the mass, just like what people, good morning, Own It Now. The things I heard yesterday, I could not believe the freak out. Yes, I could not believe the freak out yesterday. Was it news? The instant we heard it, Southern Charm and I Love Discounts and I were talking about it immediately? Absolutely. It does impact every single business on Whatnot, but it's just business. Good morning, Catches by Kathy. There is no reason to freak out. What you need to do is evaluate your business and figure out how you're moving forward. How do you take this change, this external factor that affects your business, and keep going? This is no different. This is probably even on a lesser scale. Glad you didn't order. I got quite a few. I'm like, can I return them? But this is on a lesser scale when COVID happened. Do you think any business planned for COVID? No. Some external thing happens, and then you have to react as a business. No different than if you live in South Florida and a hurricane comes through. There are things that happen externally to our businesses that we must be ready for ahead of time. If you built your business selling cards with shipping information on it, too bad, so sad. Sucks to be you, right? So I heard a seller read a shipping rate chart who hasn't shipped a package themselves in 3 years. Wrong rates, bad. Oh my goodness, stay home to shop. And this is what I mean. The amount of information. So I have three things that I heard frequently repeated yesterday throughout the day in a bunch of different shows. One, I got to go raise all my prices. Do you? This will be the downfall of Whatnot. You heard that. Oh my gosh. It's still the best shipping out there. Far from the downfall. Yeah. I need to raise my prices. How about there's no way I'll never do max shipping anymore? You know, when I first heard it, my first thought was, am I going to need to raise prices? Can I do max? Do I have to go to buyer pays all? And there's possibilities. All of those things are a possibility. But as with, exactly, stay calm and carry on. As with anything, any problem, anything that comes up in business, what I heard yesterday was everybody doing, it's a bias called rush to solve. It was, here's the problem, here's how, not even here's the problem, here's what's happened, here's how I'm going to fix it. Not once did anybody step back, identify the root cause, the problem, the effects the problem will have, and then identify possible solutions to the problem. That's the way that businesses make decisions. Businesses don't make decisions by, oh my God, Whatnot's changing the shipping, so now I can't do max anymore. No, you may consider, hey, there's a few different options. These are some things that I may have to change. Then what do? We collect the data. We look at the data. Your numbers don't lie. And if nothing else, I'm going to use this as a case to support what I've been saying all along. You should be keeping your numbers. And if you have, good morning, Forgotten Memories. If you have your numbers, you have everything you need to make an educated decision on how to move forward with shipping changes. And I'm going to show you that. That's what I've done. The other thing I've heard, which I want to address, and it's probably, if you guys are in my room, most of you are probably along the same wavelength as me anyways, for the most part. So y'all may not be the crowd that I need to be saying this to, but I'm going to say it so that you guys can, if you agree, say it too. I also heard this on multiple places and social media. Well, Whatnot needs to give us free shipping supplies now like Poshmark does. Do they? Should somebody be giving you free inventory too to sell? This is your business. That means you support your business, not anybody else. It is not Whatnot's job to give me a box, to give me an envelope, to give me anything to run my business. That makes zero sense. The fact that that even comes out of people's mouths surprises me. Now, if Whatnot chooses to go the route of Poshmark, wonderful. That would be great. That's a little bonus added on top for us sellers. But if they don't, okay, because it's not their job to do that. It sounds very entitled. And the other thing I heard, they give links to 2 places for more affordable boxes. They didn't even have to give links. It is our job to go to all of these places. It is our job to ask our friends, where do you buy boxes? What do you recommend? It's our job to get on Google and Google, where do I find shipping boxes? I think these changes just show us who real business owners, 100% Crystal, I 100%. Melinda, Whatnot doesn't even have to negotiate the lower rates. They don't. And let me tell you, I work a corporate job 9 to 5. These contracts that they enter to, this isn't just let me pick up the phone and call USPS and get this done in 5 minutes. This was probably weeks, if not months, of back and forth negotiations, of going through the legal department, of going to this person, of getting this approval and whatever else. This was weeks or months of back and forth before it ever got to this point. So this isn't just like some decision they've done lightly, so they don't have to put in all that time, like it was pointed out. The other thing about boxes, I heard a ton of people saying, well, you can get in your car, you can drive around, you can go to this place or this place and get free boxes. There's nothing wrong with getting free boxes. Look, I order from Amazon. Anything that comes in my house, if it's reusable, I will reuse it for shipping. I think the flat rate's taken away because the USPS is not going to be exclusive shipper for Whatnot. And Southern Charm, I think that's a great point. This possibly could be opening the door for other shippers to come in. We have been promised that by Whatnot for quite a while now. At the Seller Summit, they said it's coming before the end of the year. Okay, things happen in stages. It's not, good morning, Kelly. It's not just open the door and everything happens at once. I think the hand-holding is stopping and it's going to thin out the seller pool. Great. If you can't figure out how to ship, if you can't ship right, if you can't afford boxes, maybe you shouldn't be here. Cold, hard truth for people. Maybe this isn't the job for you. Oh, thank you, Crystals. I also heard some people talking about wrapping the flat rate boxes in brown paper. I heard that too multiple times. Thank you for reminding me. Just don't. All I'm going to say is just don't. It's illegal. Don't do it. Just don't. Embrace the change. Exactly. Change is absolutely uncomfortable, but you embrace it. You figure out solutions, and you make a choice in which way you're going to go. So the other thing about the boxes and going to all these different places to get free boxes, first of all, this is your business. Think about how you want your business represented when you mail a box to customers. Second of all, wouldn't your time be better used instead of an hour or 2 hours chasing free materials to actually do a show, make some money to go buy some boxes? Just saying that those couple hours you spend chasing something for free could probably be better off making money. I have worked multiple jobs. I'm 50 something years old. I have worked multiple jobs in my life. Never once, multiple professional jobs and offices. And I've worked fast food when I was a teenager. Never once have I worked a job that we went and chased free supplies. That's not the way businesses work. And I'm sorry. If you are the person, if your business relies on getting stuff for free from other people, chasing free supplies, driving around to get them, wanting somebody else to give it to you, you're probably not going to be in business very long. Today's day, a bunch of cold hard truths, and I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to say it because I'm going to talk about this shipping once. I will do a follow-up closer to the time and I'll tell you why I'm going to do a follow-up later. And that's it. I'm not going to keep going over it and over it. I will answer questions if somebody has legitimate questions, but I'm like over this whole shipping already. And I was planning to use poly bags. Exactly. We have to look, all of us, I could guarantee all of us probably have some boxes, priority stuff sitting in there. You know what? Use it up before August. Make sure that that's your first choice to try to use up before August. And then I'm sure if it's unopened, the post office will, hold on. I'm sure the post office will accept the unopened packages of boxes back. I'm going to ask them when I go today. That's it, Southern Charm. It's like a brick and mortar store buying bags for customers to put their stuff in. They're not going over to Publix or Aldi saying, do you have any extra free bags you can give me so that I can put my customer stuff in it? No, they're doing what businesses should be doing. The Whatnot announcement was a bit vague and confusing. It was the initial, who's going to get that giveaway? Maya, you got that giveaway. Congratulations. The email was vague. The first help post was vague, and then they updated it. They should have just kind of waited and put the update. They caused a lot of panic, and then the update came with more information, the actual numbers. That's what we all want to see. We wanted to see the numbers. I'm a bit fuzzy under the cost of things on 1 pound. Aaron, I'm about to show you what those are. Lots of my orders are under £1. You mentioned the PW. Yes, PWE is going up by 4 cents. So instead of 78, it's going to be 82. And then under £1 incrementally, I'm about to bring up a chart and show you. It's going to go up incrementally based on so many ounces. The other thing that gets to me is the fact that people trying to act like they already have a deal with it doesn't Whatnot didn't have to give us 6 weeks or 5 weeks notice. They did. You have 5 weeks, people. 5 weeks. That's an eternity to make a decision. And yeah, were people actually sending somebody pounds? I doubt it. You know who it's going to hurt? The people who built their business off of shoving as much as they can in a flat rate box. That's the people that it's going to hurt. Again, you built your business off of something that could change. We know historically the post office changes things. We know everybody has talked about Whatnot has a contract with USPS. We know that contract is going to change every couple of years. You know what? This isn't the first change. Guaranteed, if this is a 3 or 5 year contract, that in 3 or 5 years, there's going to be changes again. It's business. Host should have had a heads up. The community host should have had a heads up. That would have been very respectful to them. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Forgot memories. Okay, you guys, what I didn't hear. The one thing that I did not hear, and this just breaks my accountant heart, nobody talked about numbers. Nobody talked about data. Nobody talked about the true effect. They were so quick to make all these decisions without looking at their numbers. So we're going to look at numbers. I took all of last week's from the 15th to the 21st. So a full week, if you go to your Whatnot reports, that's the last one that has a week. Yes, get your spreadsheets. I took a week of my shipping, and I'll give you the stats on it. And what I did is I put it in a chart. I'm going to pull up on the screen, and I calculated it out under the new rates that were announced in the help.whatnot.com. So what would my shipping last week cost me under this new model? Then I added in, what did I actually pay so that I can compare? Is this better for me? Is this worse for me? How is this going to affect me in an average week? Okay. I actually weighed dozens of packages last night and found that this only affect a small percentage of the actual. There you go. Mary, that is wonderful. All right, let's switch over. I'm going to walk you through this spreadsheet. Yes, I'm going to mirror it. It's not a super confusing spreadsheet, and we're going to go column by column so you can understand and see exactly. So maybe is this going to be the same for you? Maybe not. But you have to do your own. But now you can see how to do that. Let's see. Let me get this mirrored. All right, we should be good. Can we bring it up? Okay, look at that. So let's start here. This is new shipping comparison. First off, package weight. I broke it down. PWE, up to 4 ounces, and then up to 8 ounces, 12 ounces, 16 ounces. You can see in column D there, those are the prices of each of those weights. And then 1 to 5 pounds is $7.20. Now, I did not go over 5 pounds, and I'm going to ignore comments for just a second so I can focus on this, and then I'll come back to comments. I did not go over 5 pounds. As you can see, I put a note down here. I assumed because, and this is why I did it was too difficult. I'm going to give you the answers. I'm going to make it easy. I assumed for me, anything over 5 pounds for the packages that I shipped, and I had 12 packages in the last week that were over 5 pounds that I shipped, that I would count those as 2 packages. That I would say, okay, I'm going to break this up into 2 packages that are less than 5 pounds. So that's kind of what I assumed. So then I look at quantity here. I went through and looked at everything that I shipped. I shipped out 158 items, which totaled 84 packages last week. And I went through all of my shipping screens and I said, okay, I had 16 PWEs, 4 in the 4 ounce, 1 in the 8 ounce category, none in the 12 ounce, 1 in the 16 ounce category, and 58, that's including breaking up the big packages, 58 packages in the 1 to 5 ounce. Now, are these numbers going to be 1 to 5 pounds? Are these numbers going to be the perfect exact? No, this is a projection. I did not go through and audit every single shipment. I looked a little bit higher level, but I did it in a way that I'm comfortable with the results and the information that it gave me. I also want to tell you guys, keep in mind, I do $4.50 max shipping. If you are doing $9.21 max shipping, it's probably going to affect you. It's going to be a whole different thing for you. But at least you can get an idea how you can look at this for yours. I did $4.50 shipping. So if this is going to hurt me, this is going to hurt me more than it would hurt somebody doing $9.21 because I already pay more out of my pocket for shipping by my choice. It's not a complaint. I do it as part of my business model. Okay. So now that we know what the weights are, how many packages I shipped, what it cost, we come over to what it would cost under the new model. So under the new model, the total cost would have been $486.34, complete cost of shipping, okay, for 84 packages in those various weights. Some of that is buyer paid, some of that is Tracy paid. So I come over here and I look at, okay, for every package that would have gone out, the buyer would have paid $4.50. The buyer would have paid $4.50. So that means the buyers would have paid $229.50 total. So when they swiped, they got their credit cards charged. Buyer pays that. The rest of it now is mine. So if I have a total of $486 in shipping, the buyers paid $229. That means I pay $256 under the new model. Okay. That means I would have paid, my projected seller cost would have been $256. Do you know what I actually paid in shipping? In our current Whatnot setup last week, I paid $387.34 in shipping cost. Okay. That means under the new model, I would have saved $130. I'm doing $4.50 shipping. So those of you doing $9.21, yelling and screaming that you can't do max shipping, I've got to raise my rates, go run your numbers. Go run your numbers. Because it doesn't make sense. Go run the numbers. Thank you, guys. Look at your actual data. And if you're not collecting data, guess what? You have 5 weeks to do it. You have 5 weeks. Now, people are good. That was $130 savings. Can you go back really quick? I want to make one more point. Where is that savings coming from? Like, okay, but the rates under 16 ounces are going up. The rates from 1 to 5 are going down. And again, I'm for simplicity's sake here, I'm assuming that anything over 5 pounds, I'm going to break into multiple boxes because I wasn't going to go track down a zip code and find what zone and do all that work. I'm just assuming I'm going to use more boxes. Okay. That means $130 savings. 126 of that came directly from the $2.01 reduction. It is the difference in the 1 to 5 pound rate. If I go back up here to 1 to 5 pounds. If I take 58 times $2.01, I get to like $123. I come within $3 of my savings. So the bulk of that savings came from that $2.01 reduction. And that left me with like a $3 difference somewhere. I'm not concerned. $3 is immaterial to track it down. Again, this is a projection. I'm taking a little bit of leeway in the numbers, not a whole lot. All right. Thank you. You can take it off. So what I want to say, and stay home to shop, give me 1 second. What I want to say is that would have saved me $130. I had 84 packages. If I had to buy a box for every single package because I'm not using flat rate or priority anymore, which I don't have to. Probably 75% of my shipments went out in priority boxes. So, but if I have to buy a box at approximately $1 per box, that's about $84. I'm still saving money. I'm still coming out ahead as a seller. So run your numbers is what I got to say about that. Will you adjust your max shipping? $450 max shipping is exposing you to higher costs compared to $4.99. As of right now, stay home to shop. I have no plans of changing my $4.50 max shipping. What my plan is at this point, that was data done very quickly last night based on 1 week. I have 5 weeks. I will probably spend the next 3 weeks. I'm going to spend the next 3 weeks doing this exact same exercise for a couple of reasons. One, to see if my data remains consistent. Can I make a good educated decision? So I have a little more data to make a decision on where I'm going with my max shipping and how I should set my shipping settings up. And then 2, it's mainly about consistency. And the second one is to help make the decision. The other side of it is this consistent information? And does it stay consistent? Because every single week, I do 4 different types of shows on Saturdays. This data came from a last Saturday, which was glowy glass. That was 47 items of breakable glass included in that data. Okay. Well, this week I'm doing primitives. Primitives is quite different than glass. The week after that, I'm doing like woods and neutrals. So if I gather 3 more weeks of information, I'm going to have information from every type of Saturday show I do, which covers the vast variety of items I ship. And I'll be able to see trends over the 4 weeks of data and make a good educated decision on if I should stay at 450 or if I need to change it. Right now, from this subset of data, my mindset is I'm not changing anything. Why should I? I can do 450. I already guarantee you there's going to be a ton of whatnot people who will not look at their numbers and they're just going to cut out max shipping thinking they can't afford it. Could you go for it? Because that's going to put me in a better space. So right now I'm not. Where my consideration really is right now is I put everything at 8 to 11 ounces. And I don't do that in a sneaky way. I do that to save myself money on the front end, and I change all of my settings. I change the weight and the dimensions on the back end and pay exactly what's needed. I don't know right now if 8 to 11 is going to be the best setting moving forward. So part of my data collection is going to be running different models using different types of settings so that I can determine what is the best setting moving forward. That's where I'm going to do my follow-up show. So once I collect this data, about 2 weeks before this change goes into effect, I will talk about this one more time on a Friday morning, saying, okay, I've collected all this data. Here's how I'm moving forward. Trial and error, exactly. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. Forgotten memories. Wouldn't the last column be seller paid because they would pay the $450 and you? It would. So the last, I actually did buyer paid. I just lumped seller paid as one total. I did not calculate my seller paid by each and every box. I looked at my shipping screens and I looked at my ledger and gathered all of the data for 1 week, just all the totals. I could have gone item by item, but I sold, what was that? 158 different items, and I wasn't going to click on every single one and add all the numbers up, where I can easily just take what I paid from my shipping screen and from my ledger. and just get one number. So that's why I didn't do another column that way. All right, let me make sure I'm caught up. So thank you guys. I'm going to be collecting the data. I'm going to keep looking at it to make a good decision for my business. And I will let you guys know. I'll be completely transparent and honest on what I decide to do. As of right now, I don't plan on changing anything, possibly my settings. That's it. Big difference is that we won't be able to use a flat rate to keep from being charged on the front end. That and crystals, that's where part of my data is where I'm going to run different models. So this next week that we're in right now, I'm doing the primitive show, shipping different types of stuff. I'm going to run the same comparison, but then I'm also going to do one and say, okay, if I didn't use 8 to 11 ounces, if I use this setting instead, what would this look like? If I use this setting, what would this look like? So I'm going to do some different financial modeling so that I can understand what it would look like in different scenarios so that I could see that over 4 weeks and make a decision based on it. I will buy access to this spreadsheet. Aaron, I will share it with you. I'll probably actually, I won't even take my numbers out because there's nothing confidential there. I just showed it. It's on YouTube now too. So I will share it with you, Aaron. Send me a DM so I don't forget. Okay. Because by the time this show's over, I will forget that you asked for it. Anybody else, if you want this spreadsheet, feel free, DM me. I am happy to share it for free with you. No charge. I suspected the customers would be saving money on shipping, which means higher. Yeah. Suggestions for whatnot is maybe not charge the seller shipping until the back end. Melinda's, I would love that. To clarify, if you run 8 to 11 for all items, the buyer would see $4.50 shipping for item number 1 and then free shipping. Exactly, stay home to shop. And that's what happens right now. For me right now, under our current setup, is typically one item, the buyer pays $4.50 and then it's free. When that doesn't happen is when I have something that's like ephemera or something that obviously doesn't weigh 8 to 11 ounces, then they're going to see less. One thing I've learned from years of selling in USPS is that people will still buy. Exactly. And it's better. The $7.20 is better for the buyers right on the front end. So I just I'm not worried about this. I think it's going to save us money. I think that $2 difference is going to allow for us to buy. It's going to give you the money you need to buy the boxes, and it's still going to save you some money. Now, let's be reasonable. If you are relying on the less than a pound of most of your business, smaller, lightweight things, jewelry is less than a pound, you may need to really look at this and figure out. You're going to have a little bit different considerations. The majority of what I sell comes between 1 and 5 pounds or greater than 5. So now if you sell things greater than 5, can you divide it up? Is it just one big item? That may hurt you. Or are there multiple items that you can put into multiple boxes? So you're going to have to look at what you sell, look at your numbers, look at the data, and figure it out. Do some calculations. It doesn't have to be as detailed as mine. You could just take your total shipping and say, okay, if I did 30 boxes and it cost $7.20, how would that look? With the current model of using weight profiles, a person buys an 8 ounce item, charge for 11 when they get to 5 pounds faster than they should. Exactly. They would get to 5 pounds faster than they should. So I don't know if they're going to change the weight bands at all. They haven't said. So right now you have 1 to 2 pounds. If my item is 1.1 pound, my customer, it comes out as 2 pounds. Are they going to change that? We don't know yet. More information, I'm sure, will come over the next couple of weeks. So the 921 is going to be $7.20 for 1 to 5 pounds. Yes. It is going down by $2.01. The price is actually reducing. Everybody's so focused on flat rate going away that they're not talking about that. They're saving $2 a package on ground. That's probably the majority of what goes out. So, all right. If you guys have questions on it, you can ask. I'll always try to answer, but I'll tell you what, this is going to be the talk for the next month. There's going to be multitudes of shipping shows. I Love Discounts does a shipping show every Monday at 5 o'clock. Is it 5 or 5:30? I think it's 5 o'clock. Every Monday at 5 o'clock. So you can always go there and ask. And I'm sure pretty much any given hour, you can open up Whatnot and somebody's going to be talking about this. Evaluate the information. Look at your own numbers. Don't buy into the hype. 5 p.m. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, a good way for buyers to buy more. Exactly. Best economical places to buy boxes. I'm actually going to start to do some research. I have been a big fan of The Boxery, it's called. However, I don't know. This is a great opportunity to evaluate. I've heard Uline, the Boxery, U Pack and Ship, WB Mason, I think is the name of it. Get on Google, search shipping supplies, and start looking. Little pro tip though, buy in bulk. If you're the seller that goes to Walmart and buys 5 or 10 boxes at a time, you're costing yourself money in the long run. Your best bet, particularly now that you will be using all of your own boxes, buy in bulk. It'll save you money. A different platform seller is wondering if people will just able to say £1 for the cheaper shipping. Under £1, hold on. If your item is 12 ounces, it's $5.25. Why would I say it's going to be £1 and make it $7.20 when that's actually costing me almost $2 more? Under 16 ounces, so between 12 and 16 ounces, is $6.57, which is still cheaper than $7.20. It doesn't do anybody any good to go up in what they're paying or to lie about the weight like that. I don't see where there's a benefit. I could be missing some fact in there. I'm not seeing the benefit, but it could, you know what? It could be one rate. I personally, look, I looked at this. I'm happy about it. I think it's a great change. I think it's a change that's opening the door for other shipping. Let's just think about this logically. If going over £5, we can still do it. What not saying we can't do it, but it's going to be at commercial rates. There's a link in the help.whatnot.com that you can go and look at those rates yourself. They're going to be significantly higher. So kind of what this is implying, implicitly stating, is we're not encouraging you to ship heavy items on Whatnot right now, because maybe something is coming. Maybe UPS or FedEx is coming to take care of those items for us. Hang out, you guys. Just be patient. Look, patience is not my strong point. They promised us. And this is a good step where it's kind of like, hey, the writing is on the wall that something more is coming. So thank you, Modern Elegance. I appreciate that. All right, that's it. Yep. Okay, we're over shipping. Let's move on. Let's talk about the CEO. And now that I'm moving on, watch my room count go. That's okay. I appreciate y'all being here and listening to me yap about shipping. Carbs Chaos. I'm going to say this in the most nicest way possible, and I'm not getting on you. Whatnot owes us nothing. They do not owe us free boxes. This is a business. Uline, WB Mason, the Boxery, U Pack and Ship, they sell boxes. You will save enough money to buy boxes. Whatnot does not owe us boxes. Okay, CEO Challenge. Let's talk about CEO Challenge Season 2. Today is the big announcement. I sent out the emails yesterday to the 6 participants. It was so exciting to send out the emails. Let's go ahead really quick and play the CEO video. It's only like a 15, 20-second video, so you know what we're talking about. We do need to be grateful. Let's see. I think I surprised him. I don't think he was ready for me to say, let's play a video.
Six sellers growing, learning, building through weekly challenges, building the business, not just the show. Welcome to the CEO Challenge.
All right, so those 6 you saw were our Season 1. They are going to be replaced, I'm sorry, you guys, with our Season 2 people. Season 2 starts July 1st, so we are right there. Every Monday in July, we are going to be doing the raid train. It's in the evenings, and this is where you're going to be able to come and see what our 6 participants are doing. What is their weekly challenge? How well did they do? Did they succeed? Did they fail? What are they struggling with? You're going to get an insight into their businesses. Time for new blood. We are also adding a little twist for this season. At the end of our raid train, and I hate to call it raid train, we call them showcases. At the end of our seller showcases on Monday nights, I Love Discounts and I are going to be doing a co-hosted show together. Well, we will actually be giving feedback this time. So the first season, I just talked about it. I'm like, hey, you guys did great. Here's some stuff that we saw. This time, we're going to be giving feedback where we're going to be saying, hey, on all 6 sellers, this is what you did great. And this is an area that you could improve from today. We're going to be nice. We're not going to, nothing to be worried about. But let's go ahead and make this, let's just cut to the chase, tell you who our 6 new people are. And right before I say that, this was one of the most difficult decisions. Like, there were so many great applicants. It was so hard, and it broke my heart to send notices to people, send emails saying, I'm sorry you weren't selected. It broke my heart, absolutely broke my heart. So the decision was not made lightly. It wasn't taken lightly. It was very difficult. But I am super, super excited to announce, just close to Simon Cowell, that our these 6 participants, in no particular order, they just happen to be how I wrote them down. Wicked Moxie is number 1. This is Mary. Mary's been on the app for about 10 months, mostly vintage, but does some estate too. So are you tagging people for me, honey? You're tagging all of them. Thank you. Wicked Moxie. What are you doing? Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you. They're all tagged in here. He put it in there before I announced them all. Wicked Moxie. Number 2, Crystal's Vintage Collection. This is Crystal. There she is right there. Mainly vintage. Does a little bit of estate. Maybe going into other things. Who knows? She's been on the app for about 16 months. She is also the CSV educator on Whatnot. So you have questions about CSV, you go there. So I'm really excited to have Crystal on. Number 3, again, no particular order, Josie's Junk in the Trunk Mercantile. Congratulations, Josie. Josie is she our newest person on here? She is. Josie is our newest of all the participants. She has been on for 3 months, probably buying longer, but she has been on for 3 months selling, and she is mainly in the vintage decor. We're really vintage heavy. I like to try to make this cross category, but the category wasn't a decision in who I picked. So it just ended up that way. The next one, Swan and Thistle. This is Miss Chantel. Chantel's been on the app for about 8 months, and she is mainly in vintage decor. Then we have Melinda's Time Capsule. Melinda, I saw her in here earlier. That is Miss Melinda. She has been on the app for 1 year and about 10 months, so going on 2 years here. Again, another person in the vintage decor category. And then we have a handmade person, you guys. We have Girl Friday Crafts. This is Whitney. She's been on the app for about 1.5 years. She is mainly handmade, but has also been doing some vintage, and she wants to do some swap cards and jewelry, but maybe not quite there yet. So I'm really excited to have a handmade person, because while the principles that we talk about apply to handmade, there's also a lot of difference in the application. And that's a category I keep saying I want to produce materials for. So I'm excited to have somebody in the CEO Challenge from the handmade community. So those are our 6 participants. They will be getting their first round of videos and information tonight to start their challenges. What they have to do as a participant is to do 2 of their own shows every single week, doing their thing. They're selling their thing. They're doing their business. While they're doing this, they need to be incorporating the challenge in some way. If it's focused on a metric, they need to look at the data after their shows. They need to make sure they're focused on that metric. Maybe it's an opening. And all the challenges this season are going to be new and different from the challenges we did in season 1. They're all business based, but they will be revealed week by week. If you guys want to do this in your business, if you're like, hey, I don't want to be one of the participants, but I want to follow along, DM me. I need your email. So saying up front, you got to DM me your email. You will be sent a Dropbox link, and once a week we'll be dropping down the at-home challenge. So you can follow along with the same challenges once a week. Usually every Monday we'll put the new information in there. But those are it. Congratulations to them. I'm super excited for a set of 6 new people. And it's going to be a fun month. So we will be getting thumbnails and stuff up shortly. So as soon as I have a chance to actually talk with all of those participants, and we set up our group chats and all of that. So watch it. Go and support these people. Watch their journey through the month. The last season, season 1, every single seller improved the metric that they were focused on. Some were big drastic changes and some were little changes, but every seller saw improvements of some sort in their business. They walked away with like, hey, this is really good. I'm going to keep doing this. Or, you know what? I learned this about myself and my business, and I don't want to do this part of it anymore. So, congratulations. Whatever went to you, please. Okay. So you guys are taking care of that. So that's it. That's our CEO challenge. That was kind of like those are, wow, 2 big things already. What time are we? We've been on for 4. It took this long to talk about 2 big things. So anyways, you're going to be hearing about the CEO challenge for the rest of the month. just go and support these people. They are the vulnerability to open up and actually show you stuff in their business. That's huge. That speaks a lot about who they are as people too. So, all right, let's do. You guys ready for a studio tour? You want to see? We've been working hard. We have redone the whole basement. Has taken over. If you haven't followed along on this journey so far, we work out of our home as most whatnot people do. I was working mainly. We had a little small studio space. We'll show you the old space. And then in the unfinished part of my basement, the rest of my basement, where the room we're in now was actually a guest room. We've converted this into a studio, and we have taken over our basement to be our business. So let's do this. I got to mirror my phone, and we'll give you a tour. All right, mirror the iPad. I guess that's what we're using. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can get this going. And we will give you a tour of the shipping area. Absolutely. We will do. I'm going to show you, not only I'm going to show you the areas, but I'm going to explain my thoughts on the functionality, on kind of like how we operate on a normal basis. All right. Are you going to set that up for me? You know, technology. I gotta have him do all of it. We're just waiting. Okay, let's do this. Go ahead and switch it around. First of all, you're going to see what I see. So, one second. Yeah, and I will not be able to see chat while I'm doing this, you guys. So I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see it. All right, so this is what I see from where I'm sitting right here. There's my ducks in the chat sign to remind me to do ducks in the chat. So this from my seat. I'm going to try not to make you sick as I get up. I'm going to show you, honey. This used to be a guest bedroom. This is now command center right there. For my selling shows, we load up those shelves. This is where I sell. So I'm going to walk around from that way. Trying to go slow, not to make you sick. So we have all these shelves. When I am selling, it looks like this. That TV is turned around with the camera. We have our black box over there, so that's where we do that. Now, these set of shelves that are empty right here, when I sell something, I sell it and it goes on that shelf. That's where my daughter will come in the room and pick it up. This is our talk show area. It's where I was just sitting. And we'll do the studio and we'll talk about the flow. So we come out of the studio. What used to be our living room is now our gym. So that's our personal area. I was not going to get rid of our gym and a place to eat because this is our business now. So we do need a place to have our lunches. And we have our photo station. So when I need to take photos, that magic happens right there. We have some inventory. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday inventory on these two shelves. Let me get back here. So we have two big shelves full of inventory here. And that's the inventory that I photograph mainly when I list for Mondays and Wednesdays. So that is why it is so close to the photography area. What was that? I'm sorry. Any cow or horse things. I may have some cow and horse stuff. And then we have our shipping area, which we're going to come back to our shipping area in 2 seconds. We have the rest of the inventory over here. So yes, I just bought those shelves and one was bent already. So the way I organize inventory, wait, is it too far already? We're losing signal. Okay. The way I got to get over there to shipping. So the way I organize inventory is by each shelf is one show. So what you're staring at on the left is primitives. Then we have our glowy glass. Can I keep going or are we going to lose connection? Behind that, Warm Embrace and Timeless and Elegant. So we have 4 of those shelves right there. Over there, that is my home office. So you can see the corner of my desk. So that is where I do my 9-to-5 job. We're going to try to get over there if he can fix our connection. Okay, so let's do our shipping. So this is our shipping area here. When my daughter goes in and picks something off the shelf as I'm doing a show, she comes over here and you can see over there, right about there, is wrapping paper. So she'll like do the wrap it in paper. Next is bubble wrap. And we have it all set up so the bubble wrap just kind of feeds from the back. Honeycomb paper, they're on holders that hook to the table. Plastic wrap. So she just goes boom, 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 works down a row. Once she wraps it in plastic, she then will start to organize by customer in the cubby. So if Southern Charm has stuff, all Southern Charms will go in one cubby. If somebody else gets another cubby, and she puts a little name tag on the cubbies to make it easy for me. Once those cubbies are filled, she'll move to the bottom cubbies, and we have a bunch more of those over on the side. If she needs more, she can pull them out. So that is what she does. Then I come behind her, and I come over here, and you see my iPad. Right there is our tablet. I'll pull up an order, and I'm just going to use Southern Charm as an example. I'll pull up Southern Charm's order. I walk over, I grab all of Southern Charm's. I then say, okay, she has numbers, whatever items, and I double check and make sure the whole order is there. I then will put the box here. I have all of my bubble making machines, bubble wrap machines, and I have my paper here to pack boxes. Thank you very much. And I have the tape and our scale. So then we do all the packing here. Once I pack, the packages go on the floor, like right here. And she comes back and she re-weighs and scans everything for me. So that is our whole shipping setup. And it is done in a flow to where she only has to take a few steps. She works in that area, and then I work in this area. If it's just one person, it's a nice little U. You kind of work like an assembly line going down. When I'm shipping, I stand right there. To my right-hand side is all my boxes. To the left are any coupon codes, stickers, anything else I need. I have 2 label printers over there. So everything I need for my part of the job is all within reach. So this is the area. I did not know that our connection would go bad. Let's see if I can come over here and show you a little bit more. So I can actually walk back over there to get to the rest of the inventory. And then we just section it off. Back there where my home office is used to be the studio. That's where we used to work out of. Then if I turn around, has nothing to do with the business, but I have a place so I can make coffee to keep me awake while I'm working. And that is it. This is where we run our business and where I hope to expand to selling 300 to 350 items a week. Let me get back in. All right, you can unmirror. Are we good? All right. So that is the business, you guys. Thank you so much. More organized than anything. Hold on. I got to go back and see the comments now because I couldn't see any comments when I was doing that. The horse on the bottom shelf over there. That one I'm doing, that is for the Southwest show that's coming up. So I do have one shelf on the bottom of my glowy glass. So my glowy glass shelves, each one of those shelves is a show type. I like to organize my inventory by show type because visually it's really easy for me to see, hey, I'm short on inventory. I need to focus on buying this type of stuff. But then since glowy glass doesn't take up all the shelves, the bottom shelf is for any upcoming raid trains. So then I can put stuff there. And then again, visually, it's easy to see. So let's see if I missed your comment. I'm so sorry. I missed your comment. Where are you supposed to do your shows now? You do them here in our studio. So our guest bedroom is now our studio, which I really like because it's kind of closed off a little bit. So I don't have to worry about sound quite as much. It gets a lot more echoey once we go out there. So the shipping setup is probably my favorite part of the whole thing. I was in a very small shipping area before. So now that there's 2 of us doing shipping, it really helps having a space set up. Ranch Hand Finds. Yes, it is. For the life of me, I cannot think of who the conductors are off the top of my head. Let me make a note. Ranch Hand Finds, I will message you with who they are.
Miss Mary, we used to, but
Fine.
For some reason, she says it doesn't work anymore. So
What doesn't work? What am I missing? Have y'all set up an affiliate link page to the river? I need a... I used to have it on I used to have an affiliate link, but your affiliate link, you have to have so many purchases within a certain time frame. And this was before I was really doing a lot of social media, so it became inactive. I could do it again. I don't know. I haven't really thought about doing it again. we could just tell you where we go and you can get it. So, all right. So that's it. That's the home office. That's the home office, the studio. This is where we're working from. Part of why we did this, you guys, and I know a lot of you have heard the story, is I wanted to buy a whole separate property. I wanted either to move to warehouse or buy another house to do the business out of. Right now, I'm selling about 150 to just shy of 200 items a week. My goal is to get to about 3 to 350 a week in order to meet the financial goals that I've set for myself by the end of this year. I had to have more space to do that. First thing was a shipper. We got my daughter to start shipping with me. The space was tight for that. And then I just didn't have the space to put inventory. I was piling inventory on the floor. I was tripping over it. I was breaking stuff. So it wasn't working. We had to do something. So when I looked at places outside of our home, we were looking at $3,000 to $4,000 a month minimum in fees to maintain it. Mortgage, rent, whatever it be, utilities, all that good stuff. So we made the decision to take over our basement. I expect this to maybe last a year, maybe 2 years before we will need to buy a bigger space. But this is an intermediate step for us that allows me to continue to grow and grow in a nice, slow, controlled fashion. So that's kind of why we are where we are right now. It would have made me have to sell even more. If I had an additional $3,000 to $4,000 expense each month, I would have had to sell even more, would have cut into any profit. There was a whole lot of considerations that after looking at all the numbers, I'm like, it's just not working right now. So we're going to be talking about goals. We're doing a mid-year check-in. We're going to spend the last hour kind of talking about that. But one of my goals is to reach that around 350 items a week at various price points. So in my Monday, Wednesday show, my average order value is far different than in my Saturday show. So I look at all of that and I do projections and I say, okay, if I sell 15 items on a Monday, 15 on a Wednesday, because those are like chat and sell shows, what average order value do I need to get? Once I know that, I can start planning what inventory I buy. I can't buy a cheap piece of inventory and expect it to sell for $30. So I have to then make sure my inventory matches the prices that I want to get, the average order value, in order to meet my goals. And I do that for all of my shows, and I do it on a week by week basis. And then I go and I look at it every single week. I have, surprise, an Excel sheet that lists out what my goal number is, what I should be selling. And then every single show, did I meet that goal or not? Did I actually sell that number of items? And did I get that average order value show by show? And then I tally it up week by week to see, did I meet my goal this week? I know that there's a certain number that I need to meet every single week in order to meet my monthly goal, in order to then get my annual goal that I want to reach. So I look at it week by week. Why? If I'm off this week, I need to look back and say, okay, why am I off? Did I not do enough shows? I'll give you a perfect example. Last week, I felt 2 of my shows, my sales were lower than what I expected them to be. And I'm like, why? What was so different about these shows? I felt they were okay, and I wasn't sure. Come to find out, the shipping was all screwed up. So the shipping was showing $921 instead of my $450, and I felt that had an effect on the sales of my show. But if I wasn't looking at my analytics like that, if I wasn't tracking information, I wouldn't have had that insight to immediately know that, oh, okay, well, what's going on here? To the point then where we were able to go and track down what the problem was. Where did you get, I have 2 bubble wrap machines. I got both of them from Amazon. I have one that's a little bit slower, makes the bigger bubbles that are about that big, and you kind of use them to fill voids in the box. And then I have another one that makes the bubbles that are about that big, that once I wrap packages normally, I'll put that around the package just to kind of add the extra protection. And that one's faster. It's more expensive, but it's faster and totally recommend it. The smaller one, cheaper, is like $140. It works just fine. It's just a lot slower. You need to let it warm up more and give it more time to do its thing. That's all. Tabitha, you missed it. Yes, I saw the new shipping announcement. Go check out YouTube. I spent the first 30 minutes going over it in detail with data and numbers to show you exactly that, at least for me, it's going to save me money. So, y'all, if you want to rewatch any of this, we do multicast to YouTube, so you can always go there. So just kind of back to, not necessarily the studio, but reaching your goals. And how many of you here, let's kind of move on to talk about our mid-year check-in. Before we do that, Q3 is out, you guys, if you are interested. If those of you who have bought Q1 and 2, I finally got Q3 in print and ready. So we do have Q3 books. These books go along with our Friday shows. They talk about every single week. They give you the highlights of what we talk about. The main points give you a place to take notes. So we have a physical copy. There's also electronic copies. I have no more physicals of Q1 and 2, only electronics of those, only Q3, but this is new, just came out. All of that's in the bin, in the shop if you're interested. So glad, yes, that you have to get up at 6:30. Absolutely. I know I'm early, but you know what? My 7 a.m. works for me. Thank you for your purchase from the bin. Tabitha, congratulations. You got that giveaway. I am finding, you guys, you find your spot. You find what seems to work for you. 7 a.m. I'm liking this time slot. The ultimate goal right now, I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m. Saturdays are 8. I allow myself to sleep in a little on Saturdays. Thursday is the only day I'm not on. By December, actually September, October timeframe, I'll be coming on Thursdays too. It's a progression. It's right now I'm focusing on making sure I have the inventory for the shows I have, then picking up sourcing a little bit more to add on that other show. But I want to be the 7 a.m. person. That's kind of my goal. Because that's a time that works for me, working 9 to 5. This is a perfect time for me to come in, do my shows, do my other job, and then get back and focus on whatnot in the evenings. Yep. 6 a.m. You get ready to my shows. I get up at 6:15, no problem, but trying to stay up late is a problem. I want to do a midnight show. I get you, Modern Elegance. I can't do nighttime shows. And I actually find that when I'm on raid trains and I'm on at like 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, that my performance isn't as well. It's not me performing, but like I don't make as much sales. My bids aren't as high. And I think a lot of that comes directly from the energy that I bring. I'm dead. I am brain dead by that time at night. I need to do like cleaning, packing, stuff that doesn't take a whole lot of thought or like, physical presence, because I just can't. I'm not a nighttime person. I'm more of a morning person. Thank you. Let's see, am I missing? Okay, making sure I wasn't missing anything. So let's talk about being halfway through the year. I've been saying it for a week now. We are exactly at week 26, halfway through the year. So question for everybody. That was at Crystals. It was real communicate. Okay, we don't have it in yet. It's coming today. I ordered it from Amazon, but you know what we got? I got a stoplight, red, yellow, green stoplight. We're going to hang it on the wall somewhere where I can see it. And red's going to be, shut up. I need you to stop talking. Something's happening. I need you to shut up. Yellow is going to be, there was a raid or the giveaway's running. I need you to focus on the screen. And green is going to be, you missed a comment. So we are actually, my gun's way over there. I didn't bring it. It's sitting over on the table. So we're going to have a stoplight to use for communication. I am trying everything. We're just going to go one option after another until I figure out how we can communicate during shows. But
yeah, that light's gonna be on red all the time.
I will show you as soon as we get it installed. It's supposed to be here today, and I got to hang it up. But it comes with a remote control, so he can just change the colors, and I can visually see, like I need to shut up or I need to check out the comments. The dry erase board just isn't working. No, it's not working.
She doesn't pay attention to it anyway.
It is easy to ignore. So I have a question for all of you. How many of you have spent time to check in with yourself on your goals, your vision, to make sure you're on the right path? How many of you within the last, say, week or two, being in the middle of the year, have actually taken a moment and checked in on your goals?
Christelle's wanna bet?
Traffic light. Yep.
Check this out.
First time, every time, yes. A lot of people are saying yes. Doing it today. He just mutes me. I am real. What I was saying is, because I'm nicer than he is, I am really glad to see that there are so many yeses that you guys are checking in on your goals. How do you know if you're on the right path? How do you know where you're at? If, like me, my goals, I've been very, very open about it, is to make a certain amount of money by the end of the year, which means I have to sell a certain number of things at a certain price every single week. If you're not checking on that, you're drifting. You can, it's so easy. You've been evaluating. Awesome. Crystal, it wasn't your fault. He's just being himself over there. You want to mute your, I wish I had a remote control that actually worked to just be quiet. The other day I walked in, y'all can relate to this. I came in, what did I tell him? I said something about, hey, tomorrow morning at the show, sunshine. He goes, okay. And I'm like, no, that was like, I need an answer to that. And then he asks me the exact same question of what I just asked him. I'm like, you were not listening whatsoever. Like, you did not hear one word I just told you. So, okay.
Not at all. I chose to give her my back. That way I can ignore her a lot easier.
He's facing the wall now. Modern Elegant says, I'm definitely going to start. I never really thought about it. Every day is a learning day. I want to be better. Here's the thing with goals, you guys. You don't have to be as anal as I am and like evaluating every single show. But if you don't have a goal, what are you working towards? Are you just getting up being busy every day to be busy? You don't want to just be busy to be busy. You want to be productive. You want to be working towards something. And that something can't just be, I want to make money. Because we can all get on here and make some money. What is it? What's that goal? What's the ultimate plan? If you don't know what that is, you're just kind of like floating along in the wind. You're going to follow. You have no guardrails, nothing to help you with that direction. You're just kind of like, oh, I'll go try this raid train. I'll go try this one. I'll go do this. And none of that is going to get you where you want to go. My vision is I want to take the quickest, straightest, fastest path to get to where I want to be. And without knowing where I want to be, I can't do that. I don't know what that path is if I don't know where I'm going. So if you don't have that goal, you're just kind of like, going all like this, and it's going to take you a lot longer. You're going to get burnt out. A year down the road, you're going to be like, I busted my butt all this year. What did I achieve? So there may be small like successes and stuff, but if you're not working towards something, and we hear a lot about this in January, the end of December, January, this is all the talk. Every talk show talks about goals. I did it too. But nobody really talks about it in the middle of the year. We need to be checking in. It's not enough to sit there in January and make a goal if you're not checking in. Do you know only 6% of people are still working towards their goals that they set in January come June? 6%. I went and looked it up. Research shows 6% of people. Do you want to be one of the 6%? Think about the people on Whatnot. All the people on Whatnot. Okay? Do you want to be one of the 6% actually working towards where you want to go, or one of the 94% just floating around in the wind? Who's gonna be more successful? Who's gonna still be here a year from now? Who's not gonna get burned out? I don't know about you, but I want to be one of the 6%. I'm gonna be one now. I know I take it a little far. I'm very type A, very list oriented, and I don't expect anybody else to be like that. But I definitely want to be the 6%. I want to be able to sit here in this seat next June and say, I blew past my goal that I had for 2026, and now I have an even bigger one for 2027. All right. My husband and I got into this little, I don't want to say argument, but a very like heated, deep discussion, because he's like, girl, you just need to chill some. He's like, you're just so focused on these goals. You're so into this, and you're just go, go, go. And I'm like, I can't wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock every single morning and bust my butt before my job and then go to my 9-to-5 job and then bust my butt after my job and wake up at the end of this year and not achieve nothing. I don't want that. I don't want to do this all year long and then sit there in December and be like, why did I give up weekends? Why did I give up some of the stuff I'm giving up to build this business if I'm not seeing the fruits of that labor? And the only way to see the fruits of the labor is to have a way to monitor that and measure it. But I can't monitor and measure it if I don't know what the ultimate goal is that I'm monitoring and measuring to. So, there it is. We had a spirited conversation. And, he said something, and I really disagreed with it in the sense that he was right but wrong at the same time. Yeah, it's the structure that makes the difference. What he said, he goes, you were very blessed. He goes, you don't stop to appreciate what you have. You always want more. And he said it in a way that was to make me realize And I don't say this in an arrogant way. I understand extremely how blessed I am in the fact that I do Whatnot to build for my future, that I have a 9 to 5 to pay my bills. A lot of people rely on Whatnot to keep a roof over their head, and it's a far different scenario than where I'm at right now. I am very blessed in that, but that doesn't change the fact that I have goals for my business and I want more. I don't, and it may sound, and it's not in a greedy sense, but just for the fact that because I'm very blessed and I have a good base of where I'm at, that should never be enough. You should never just rest on what you have. You should always strive for something greater. And that's where I'm at. And I just because somebody has more than somebody else doesn't mean that you're just like, okay, I have more, I don't need to do anything. No, strive for it. There's nothing wrong with wanting bigger, better, greater, more success, more of what you have, better growth in your business. There's nothing wrong with wanting more and more of that, as long as you're not hurting or anybody else to get there. All right, let me go back to comments. I got on a little roll there. I have learned to focus on simple goals, like have a certain percent increase. There you go. If it's so complicated, and Southern Charm, you are hitting the nail on the head with breaking things down. You could have an annual goal. You could say, okay, I want to make $100,000 this year. That seems like a hell of a lot of money when you make $500 in a show, right? It's kind of like, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. But if you break that all the way down and say, okay, I want to make this much in a show, and by next month, I want to increase that by 3%, then it becomes obtainable. It becomes doable. Floating along is part of why we're taking a step back for a little bit. Organization is getting lost. It's good that you're recognizing that, Rawson. My goal is to have 1,000 sales within the next 2 weeks. I will break that down today, maybe add 5 new followers and 5 new sales a show. That's the best way to do it. Pick the goal, pick the deadline, and then you work backwards. What do I need to do each week to reach that goal? And then you evaluate, did I make it? Did I not make it? Do I need to change anything? And then we're going to talk about why the mid-year check-in is so important. Never limit the possibilities. Yeah, you could totally appreciate what you have and continue to want more. You know what? I want to wake up someday and say, you know what? I have built a business that if I want to walk away from my job, I could. Will I choose to do that? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I want to know that if I want to walk away from my job, that I could. Newbie just trying to get followers. My first show is Sunday. First of all, how do we say your name? Is it Schlendy? I'm probably saying that wrong. If you want to put it in phonetically, I'm happy to try to learn how to say it right. Congratulations on joining Whatnot. That's a huge step. The biggest advice I can give you, there's 3 things that are going to make you successful. So commitment, consistency, and discipline. Employ all 3 of those. Be consistent in your shows. Pick an anchor show. If your first show is Sunday, if that's going to be your anchor show, do that show that same day and time every single week. And don't expect to grow instantly. Stay at it. Commitment. You got to be committed to do it. You got to do it consistently, and you have to be disciplined about it. That's the best advice I can give you. And then as you do a couple of shows, you start to learn more and more, and we can start drilling down onto all the little itty bitty incremental things that you can improve. But that's the biggest thing to start with. A lot of people will tell you, oh, go buy a thermal printer, do that. All of that's true. There's a bunch of stuff in there. But for me, if you really want to be successful, you have to go into it with that and understand the fact that it may take time. So, okay. So really when we're talking about looking at our mid-year goals, are you still on the right path? So reflection realigns your priorities. And you may not be the same person. The January version of you could be very different than the June version of you. So this is one of the reasons why it's so important to do a mid-year check-in, because where my mind was, where my business was in January may not be the same where my mind is and where my business is in June. So maybe those goals need to be adjusted. Maybe I need to adjust to recommit to those goals in a different way. So you have to think about that. And that's not failure. If you've changed and you're like, you know what, that goal just doesn't make sense for where I'm at in my business right now. These last 6 months have thrown me a curveball, or things went in a different way. Back in January, my goal was to roll out a successful sterling silver line on Whatnot. I was going to sell jewelry. I quickly realized within 3 months that I hate selling jewelry. It was not for me. Guess what? That jewelry goal in June doesn't make sense anymore for me. I need to do a mid-year check-in and say, okay, here were my 2 or 3 goals in January. Which ones are still here and which ones aren't? Where do I need to realign? Where do I need to recommit?
Just to add to the previous question and comment, here we go. So,
Schlendy, thank you.
very interesting. I would suggest you have an anchor show and throw it in there in your bio, and definitely post a few more shows.
Yes, go
At
post a few
least
more.
another 5 or 6. That way, people can start bookmarking your shows, because that's just one. So that would be another good advice. And guys, if you're so inclined to give a follow and check her out.
So Mary says consistency is totally important. I had to skip 2 months and you're just kind of now recovering. And you know what? We talk about consistency and showing up for your shows. It's not just your shows. It's consistency in sourcing, consistency in your language, consistency in how you perform, consistency in how you ship. The consistency applies to every single part of the business. But showing up, I've said it a million times. I know those of you who hang around me a lot know I cannot stand when people say, like my husband just said, and I was so happy. He just made my heart proud that he goes, go schedule a few more shows. What he did not say was, go schedule a few more shows and you can change them if you need to. He knows. He kind of glanced at me. He knows he wasn't going to say that. Schedule the shows when you can do them. Do not, consistency, showing up. I heard somebody say, oh, put 10 shows out there. Just yesterday I was listening to a chat show. A newer seller, like 50 something sales doing seller support. I don't agree with that. If you're a newer seller, there's plenty of other ways to do chat shows, not seller support. You're still learning yourself. However, get one consistent day time. But she was like, oh, just you can reschedule all your shows. And I'm like, oh, you're breaking my heart every time I hear that. Life completely threw me off course of my goals I had in January. Now, second half of the year, it's time to get back. Yeah, you get back to it. We realign. We check in with ourselves. Is the same version as January Tracy the same as June Tracy? What do I need to change? I have 6 months left. Let's make this the best 6 months. I don't want to wake up 6 months from now and feel that I wasted it. That's a shame to me. There's so many times I look back in my life. I don't know about you guys. I'm 50 something years old. And there were seasons of my life. Sometimes some seasons are like, hey, you got little babies and you're just trying to keep your head above water. And that's the season you're in. There's other seasons in your life that you have huge opportunities to grow, to expand, to learn something, to be something different. And I look back and I see seasons that I've wasted. Livy, congratulations. And maybe it's just coming of age to a certain point where I don't want to waste any more seasons. I want to make the most of everything I have. And that's just kind of where I'm at. And when I wake up 6 months from now, I want to be able to say, I busted my butt and I made the most of those 6 months. And here's the fruits of my labor. Schedule, and all like, Josie, thank you. I'm so glad I have that little voice every now and then. So we talked about how research shows that only 6% of people. How about your adjustments are strategic? So adjusting your goal isn't failure. I look at the jewelry. It didn't work. You know what I learned? I learned how much I don't like jewelry. I learned how difficult it is to source the jewelry that I wanted. I learned a whole lot about that. It wasn't a failure. I may joke about it and be like, well, I failed at this, but I didn't really fail. You know what? I grew through that. I learned that wasn't a good goal. I learned that now moving into these next 6 months, that I'm not going to include that. Maybe I need to focus on the things that I know work for me. Vintage, accounting, tax type things, the things that are successful. So don't look at if you have to realign or change a goal that you failed at it. It's not a failure. It's just not where you are right now. Right? He's trying to show me something. What are the dimensions of the packing station? So I have 2 folding tables on either end that are just cheapy 8-foot folding tables from like Walmart. The one in the middle, the table in the middle came from Amazon and it's 96 inches. 94 or 96. I don't remember off the top of my head. And it has like the plugs on the side so you can like plug things in if you need to. And it wasn't too expensive from Amazon. Now you got to put it together, but it wasn't hard. And it makes a perfect you for it fits two people perfectly. And I do want to say, I think it meant, oh, the actual size of the area. Okay, so if it's probably 8, I don't know, 12 feet, 12 by, what do you say, 12 by 10, something like that. So you figure, yeah, you can figure it out. So 2 8-foot tables and like a 94, 96-inch table in between. And the 8-foots are going like the outsides of the U. You did miss a tour of the Good Grabs. I will do one more really quick at the very end of the show if we have time. I am actually you guys, I am going to try to end on time because I think I found the place for our PA meetup. We are going to tour it. I got the contract. The price is reasonable from the pictures and talking to the person. Everything sounds good. So I'm doing the final, going to tour the place and sign the contract and give them a deposit as long as it looks good when I get there today. So that's what I'm doing right after the show. I'll do one more tour. It's the size of a small bedroom. Yeah. Okay. We'll do it at the end, but we're getting there. So when it comes to your goals, we talked about mid-year check-in. Okay. So you stop, you reflect, you figure out, did I drift off my goals? Where am I? So you've done that. Now what do? You're like, okay, I've thought about the last 6 months. I've looked at what my goals were in January. Now, what do I do now? How do I move forward? What's the next step? Well, that awareness that you just obtained, that awareness now creates that momentum to keep going. So now that you're aware, you can stop wasting energy on things that aren't serving you. So those first 6 months, you're evaluating. You're like, okay, well, you know, I've been doing this. This isn't really helping me get to my goal. This isn't serving its purpose. So now that you're aware, you can quit wasting energy on stuff that's not working for you. Here's something for you guys to do. Do it in your head, or if you have pencil and paper handy. I always have a pen and paper. So here's something for you guys to do. I want you to write down or think about something in your head, one thing that's working in your business. So one thing that's working, one thing over the last 6 months that's serving you well in your business. Oh, hold on. He says I'm missing the comments. I'll come right back to this. We missed a tour. Yeah, we're going to do the tour. I don't live in a mansion. Well, I don't know what the mansion comment is. I had a goal to get a specific raid train, got invited. Now the conductor suggested I rework my shop and I'm freaking out about the items. Deb Sweet Country. I read your comment and I see red flags all over that. I'm going to be completely honest. If somebody else told me to rework what I had in my business, see you later, alligator. You're not the right train I need to be on. That's me. Now
you can take good advice because it might be good advice, but take it with a grain of salt and figure it out if this is something that is going to be a positive change for you, or they might be just not the right person to give advice.
Thank you, Millicent. So yeah, you can rewatch if you buy something rich, but you can also go to YouTube. We're on YouTube for free. Thank you, Millicent. Deb, and I don't know if it's like, I'm just using an example. If they say, oh, it's a primitive train and you have MCM decor, now that's reasonable advice. Like, hey, your items don't match the theme of the train. But if it's like what you have in your bin, be careful. Just all I'm saying, be careful. Ask back. Yeah, ask them. Why do you say that? What is it? Get more information. Yeah. Where was I? Oh, okay. So we're talking about an exercise for you to do. So write down one thing that's working, one thing that served you well, and then one thing that's costing you more than what you're getting back from it. So think about that. One thing that's doing great in your business in 6 months, the last 6 months, and one thing that's costing you more energy than it's returning in its value. We all have it. We all have it there. Maybe it's pre-listing. Maybe you're like, I've decided I'm not going to pre-list my whole Saturday shows anymore. I'm going to pre-list 20, 25 items. You get a good sense of what's there, and the rest are going to be randoms. I see benefit in some of the pre-listing, so I don't want to take it away completely. But I also don't have the time to pre-list 100 items. It's just not going to happen for me anymore. So all of us have it, and it all may be something different. The mess in my house, maybe a lack of organization is costing you time and money. Hard to find items. It's costing you more time in order to get ready for shows. Could be. So and all of us are going to have a different answer. So think about it. I know I'm a very, I want to say organized person, but don't look at my linen closet because all the towels are just shoved in there, right? I'm organized within the things that I need on a regular basis to do my job, to do, whatnot, but not other areas of my life need a lot of work. Just saying. Um, and your goals evolve with growth. Let's talk about as you grow, and that's what I was saying. I'm not the same Tracy that I was in January that I am now. Your goals are going to evolve with you as you grow your business. Your goals, when I first started, my goal was to go through my items 2 times, be on long enough to show my stuff 2 times. That was my goal. I didn't have an annual goal. I didn't have a monthly goal. My goal was just to do a show and show everything twice. That was as best as I can do at that time with what I had. All that I can muster within me was just that. And then once I started selling 2, 3, 4 items a show, it became, okay, now my goal is to make $50 a show. All right. Then the goal became do this much money in a month. I have goals now. I want to make 250 to 300,000 a year. Those are where I'm heading for 2027. Am I saying I'm anywhere near that or that's where I'm at right now? No, that's where I want to be. That's where I'm working towards. So it's an evolution. And sometimes you need to do that. Crystals, that's such an awesome point. Sometimes the goals we set in January are too hefty and too big, and we need to pull back and we need to say, wait a minute, I need to recenter myself and I need to have a little bit smaller goals in order to reach that success, to give me that good feeling, right? We have to have wins. Those wins help us keep moving. Yeah, smaller goals to help you reach the bigger one. So sometimes our goals, right now, if I want to make 250, 300,000 by the end of 2027, I have a certain dollar that I need to be making by the end of December in order to get into 2027 with the right frame of mind and the right setup and the right processes and systems. But I'm going to reevaluate again in December, and maybe I might not be there, and I might have to readjust that and pull that back some. But this is a good time now in the middle of the year to do that with the goals you set in January. My goal today is to ship and then find your floor. I love it. Just daily thought. Good grief. Thank you. So they're going to evolve with you as you evolve, as your business evolves. And sometimes your business is going to take a wild turn. I love discounts. I'm going to use you for example. A year ago, they had a grocery store, a brick and mortar grocery store. They were selling health and beauty product pallets, and they were kicking butt. And then they're like, you know what? We're going to get rid of the grocery store. It's not serving us. It's not meeting a bunch of other requirements that they had, whether that be financial space, whatever it is. Okay, it wasn't meeting what they needed it to meet. It wasn't serving the purpose anymore. And we're going to switch to jewelry. Their goals a year ago are a far cry than their goals now. It's a completely different business. Their business just kind of did a 180. Kill it off. So sometimes that happens. Sometimes life throws you a curveball, right? Sometimes, for those of you still young enough, I'm not in that stage anymore. You have these business goals in January, and guess what? You found out you're pregnant. Now you're about to have a baby, and the second half of the year is going to look far different than the first half. So it's okay. It's not failure. It's growth. It's evolution. Pivoting happens, right? And here's where the clarity comes in. So your clarity of what your goals were, what you've achieved, where you want to go, realigns that focus on what you should be doing in your day to day. Realigns the whole focus. Sometimes if everything's too busy and blurry, maybe you had too many goals, or you're going in too many directions at one time, or you had too many, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this. Now this is my problem. I have a list a mile long of things I want to do in my business, and silly me thinks I can do them all today. And I can't, or I can do them all next month, and I can't. I have too many should do's. So I frequently have to pull back and say, I have all these should do's, want to do's. What is logical that I can do? Because a should do and a want to do is very different than what you can do. You should, I am 100%, because I'm always coming up with new ideas. I'm like, oh, let's try this. And then I break the idea down and I'm like, oh, it involves all this time and effort. I don't have time for all that time and effort right now, right? So sometimes that clarity just refocuses, realigns those should do's and want to do's into what you can do. And maybe, hey, it's not an October thing. That's going to have to be a next year thing, right? Um, and the mid-year point right now is it's a natural break. It's built into the calendar. We have a 12-month calendar. We have natural breaks to do this. It's not even like we have to remember, right? So just think about that. I just want to challenge you guys to think about what those goals are. Think about where you've been, where you want to go in the next 12 months, and break them down. It's not just a January exercise. If you missed it, I'm going to go back to saying only 6% of people in June are still working towards their goals they set in January. You could choose to be one of those 6%. This is a total choice on your side. This isn't, oh, everything happened, I couldn't. You can excuse yourself to death. It is a choice. So we're here. We're working on our goals. We refocus, we realign, we change those goals if we need to change them if they're not serving us, and we keep going. All the people on Whatnot, of all the people, 6% are still chasing those goals. 6% are still working on their business. The rest are just showing up being busy. I don't want to show up and be busy. I want to show up and be productive to reach a goal. Also, choose what is for now and what's for later. I can't focus. I want to focus on 10 things at once, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I suggest you consider it is okay to talk to ourselves kindly as we would talk to someone else. I love that, Millicent. I love that. And we have to offer ourselves grace and talk kindly to ourselves. Yeah, 6%. Research has shown. I went and looked up, did some studies because I wanted to know how many people still do their work on their goals. And okay, it's a study. Is it exactly? I don't know. What I found was 6%, but give or take, it's a small part of the population, right? So that's really the big focus of what I wanted to talk about today. I know we're a little early. I am going to do another tour, and then we'll take questions on anything. We'll answer shipping questions. We'll do about 30 minutes of questions. Reselling Roundtable this week, you guys, I want to mention this. Reselling Roundtable, because this kind of ties into goals. We are talking about, the actual title is Destroying Your Margins for Instant Payout. So destroying your margins for instant payout. We're talking about that thousand sales mark, right? Should I have a business set up before I start on Whatnot? Jay Wallen, when you say business setup, do you mean an LLC or do you mean like an area to do your Whatnot, like a physical place to do your business? Let me know which one, because my answer is going to be Jay Wallen, LLC. Here we go. All of you rolling your eyes at me. I know. Don't roll your eyes. LLC doc. You do not need an LLC. No, the minute you go into business, you are a sole proprietor. I would absolutely advise against an LLC immediately. You need to talk to a financial advisor, an attorney, and or a CPA to evaluate a bunch of factors that determine if you need an LLC. LLCs typically are not immediately necessary. I've been in business. I'm a CPA and been on Whatnot for going on 3 years, and I don't have an LLC because it's not necessary. There's a lot of factors that play into that, and quickly I'll name them, and then I'll be done talking about LLC. Do you have employees? Do you plan to have employees? What kind of assets do you own personally? What kind of assets do you own in the business? Do you have partners? Do you want partners? What are your financials look like? Past, what do your projected financials look like? So there's a lot of these variables that go into the determination if an LLC is a necessary step or not. Most times, beginning on Whatnot, the answer is no. So look at you guys. I'm getting good at this. I'm getting this down to about 30, 45 seconds. I used to go on for 5 minutes every time I got asked that question. Maybe that's your problem. I'm mean to me, always cussing myself. What were you thinking? We are harder on ourselves than anybody else, Josie. Absolutely. I think all of us are. We are hard. There are some people that they just amaze me. They can do the meanest thing or the stupidest thing and think nothing of it. And I'm like, how do you do that? That conversation, what just came out of my mouth is going to play in my head for the next 4 days. I'm going to beat myself up over saying that for the next 4 days. I don't understand people who could just say something and walk away and never think about it. But that's what we need to be. We need not to be mean or cruel to people, but we need to be nicer to ourselves that, we're doing the best we can. So what did Lori say? What did I miss from Lori? Oh, okay. All right. We're going to do another quick tour and then we'll answer some questions. So get any questions you have, think about those, and then we'll start talking about questions. If you wouldn't say it to your grandma, don't say it to yourself. There you go. I love that. Or your daughter. Think about your daughter. Would you say something like that? Do you want somebody talking to your daughter? Or if you don't have kids, to your grandma or to your baby sister? Or to your mom? right? We need to be nicer to ourselves. We need to give ourselves credit, but be careful, because a lot of times we can go from we need to be nicer to ourselves to we start making excuses for our own failures and for our own misgivings. There's a fine line there. There's a fine line between giving ourselves grace and making excuses. I'm not one that accepts excuses very easy. I do say crazy stuff to my daughter too, quite often. There are times you need to kick your own butt, right? SS Vintage, I totally agree. There's times when you need to be like, what are you doing? Southern Charm, probably not. Okay, maybe let's take daughters out of there, because I'm very sarcastic to my daughters, but they're sarcastic right back. They are just like me, unfortunately. Sometimes in a good way, most times not. All right, let's do one more tour. For those of you who missed it, we'll do another quick tour. We're going to walk around. If you already saw it, maybe you'll see something different this time. I don't know. Are we mirrored here? All right, I think we're mirrored. Okay. Oh, I'm covering up. Maybe I should move my hand out of the camera. Is this upside down? Hold on. I think I'm upside down.
Yes, you're upside down.
I'm upside down. Okay. There we go. Is that right? Tiny tour of an old space. Okay. He's going to have to come and fix this again for me. I don't know why. This is why I would rather use my phone than the iPad, but you know. That's why you said grandma. Yeah, you were probably right at the beginning. Okay, here we go. I know. Having a tech guy is awesome. But every time I ask him for help, he's like, well, you messed it up. And I'm like, but I don't know what I'm doing. All right, are you going to switch it for me? Maybe. There it goes. There he is. There's my man right over there. All right, let me get up. This is what I see sitting on this couch. Well, we're going to walk the opposite way this time and come around. So that's the shelf right there. So when I sell something, the items go there. My daughter walks in from this door, grabs those items so she's not on camera, can slide in undetected. This is our staging area to put stuff we're selling for the show. There he is. That's what I see during a whole show. Back to the show, his command center. When I'm selling, this is my selling view. That TV's flipped around the other way when I'm selling. That's his corner. And then that is where we were just sitting, is right there. So that is going to be our new chat show area. I'm finding the couch is too low, though. I need to put some risers underneath the legs. All right. This is our basement area. So we'll start there. That is where I do any pictures for listings. If I'm pre-listing, we'll do photos there. Have different backdrops. This is my personal gym area. So little place to eat food, because I do all of my work down here, my 9 to 5 and my whatnot. So there is our gym. This is our, we'll come this way this time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday shows. So this is all the inventory for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday shows. We have the only things I bought for this whole redo were these racks. I got 6 of those rolling racks there, but I don't roll them with all that glass on there. And I can't see comments, so I'm not ignoring. Thank you, Liz. I can't see comments, but he's yelling at me. Say thank you. A little kitchenette so I can have lunch and coffee while I'm working. And then we come over here. That's the rest of my inventory. There is 4 carts total over there. Each cart is a different aesthetic, so different Saturday show. Bottom down there is Ray Train. Back over there is my 9 to 5 home office. So you see my desk. I got a computer, but that's where I work my 9 to 5 job. Oh yeah. We're trying to make the best use of this space and the shipping. So what we were talking about earlier, that table in the middle, I bought that. That's from Amazon. It's either 94 or 96 inches, and it's height adjustable, which is why I really bought it. Using these are just 8-foot fold up tables from like Walmart. It was hurting my back. So though that table there is up higher, so that's where my daughter does. What? Okay, let me get back so my audio doesn't break up. Is that better? A little bit more. We're going to come back here. Can you hear me better now? Yes? Okay. So that area over there, there's wrapping paper. So my daughter will grab the items. She'll bring them over here. There's bubble wrap right there, honeycomb, plastic. They're on those holders. They look like this. See these little holders that clip to your table? They're like two for like $15 on Amazon. They're super cheap. But it makes it easy. Everything's accessible. And then once she packs it, everything gets sorted by customer into cubbies, either the big ones or the little ones. And then we have extras if we need them. And then I come behind her. I grab an order. You can barely see it right there is my iPad. I pull up the order. I double check everything. And then this is where we put stuff in boxes. So when I make the bubble wrap, it just stores under the table. I stand on that side and then I don't really move from that area besides grabbing the order. So that's the whole shipping setup. It works really, really well. I know it takes up a lot of space, but it makes it easy. I do not like having to pull things out. So then we go like this and we'll go back. So that is our whole area. This is our business. And we go back to the studio. So the downside is that we're still in my basement, which means I bring all my inventory down and then have to bring it all back up. That's the biggest downside. All right. There we go. What did I miss? Functional. Thank you. Thanks. I need things to be kind of pretty, not just functional, but functionality is number one. That's the most, when we were setting this up, I constantly would stop and say, okay, how is this going to work? If I'm selling, where does Zoe come in? Where do I place the items? When I sell something, where do I place it? Where does she get it? I had to make sure the setup was she can walk in the room without interfering with the camera, without tripping on wires, easily grab items that she then needed to pack up for me. So that was a big part of the functionality. And then it was thinking, okay, if both of us are here shipping at the same time, how do we fit? Do you have an exit door? Like, can you load into a wagon? I do not, Livy. I am downstairs. So it is in the basement. We do have a system though. Here's our high-tech system. Once the boxes are packed, they all go on the floor. And then my daughter's second part of her job is to put them on the scale and do the scan photo for whatnot with the weight. So she scans all of our pictures for us. And then she puts them at the bottom of the stairs. I stand about halfway up the stairs. She stands at the bottom and she throws me a package and I throw it to the top of the stairs. That's our high-tech system. We just kind of throw packages up the stairs. So Livy, we started switching to scanning on a scale. We actually got the idea from Southern Charm. And then after that, I heard Natural State of High has been doing it forever. When they first started doing the charges, and I had two charges I didn't agree with, and I'm like, there's no way. And so that's our way to have proof of what the actual weight is. It's the only way to know. It was a while ago, when they first came out, 2 boxes that were 4 pounds, and they told me they were 20 pounds. And I'm like, there's just no way. So is my old space on YouTube? It is. We did a tour of the old space. So where we're at right now, this room was a guest bedroom. And then where I have the gym used to be a couch. It was this couch I'm sitting on and was like a movie area. And we just had a very small little studio. We do need an elevator. That was Tremoto. The whole being in the basement and taking things down and up was like one of the big drivers besides space that I'm like, I need another space. I am so sick and tired of this. Cardboard boxes. So that's besides being downstairs, the other downfall. I keep my cardboard boxes. They are still in my storage. I can show you those too. I can walk over there and show you those really quick. I keep those in my storage because I really didn't have space out here. So that is one of the things I'm like, not perfect. I can make do with it. But what I do is when I'm shipping, I will grab, 5 or 6 of the most common boxes, bring them out to my shipping station, pack, and then go grab some more. Maybe not the most efficient, but we all have certain limitations in our space to some degree. So I had it done, just cut a hole in the floor. I wish I was that talented. I can build a lot of stuff. I've built quite a bit of things on my own, but I don't know if I can do it dumbwaiter. So let's see. Can you possibly explain the email that we had gotten? Let me go back. I'm trying to see what I missed while I was doing the tour. I wasn't here earlier enough. You've already gone over about flat rate. The Thrifty Cottage. Give me about 10 minutes. We will wrap up with a really quick recap of the shipping discussion. Really quick. I'll do like the last 5 minutes right before 9 o'clock. So give me about 10, 15 minutes and we'll do that. I don't think I'm missing any other questions. Let's go ahead. I'll show you where I keep my cardboard boxes really quick. I've actually cleaned that area out. Where I keep my boxes now and extra supplies like plastic wrap, honeycomb paper, that's where I used to ship from. So here, can you do this again, my love? Is it still on? All right. Did I just mess it up again?
Yeah.
Do you have to fix?
It's okay.
You got it?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and switch it over and we'll walk over there. So now you're seeing way too much of me. Okay. So this is where I keep my cardboard boxes. One of the downfalls, however, it's not that far. So there's shipping over there. This used to be my shipping. So this is where I used to do all my shipping. And so now I keep boxes that came in from ordering stuff, extra boxes. And those orange things are actually, they hold lumber. I got those off Amazon. If you look at like lumber shelves or lumber holders, and I just mounted them to studs. They work great for boxes. And then I just have a couple other shelves to hold supplies here. But that used to be, that whole area right there, which is what, about 6 feet, maybe 8 feet, used to be my whole shipping station. So that's now why I moved to a bigger shipping station, because we couldn't both fit in here. All right. So I don't make people sick by going too fast. Go ahead and switch it off. Thank you. Okay. So that used to be the shipping and where I keep my cardboard boxes now. Install a stairway chair, but adapt it to a foldable flatboard to stack packages on. That may be a good idea. We thought about, we have one of the basement windows that's like it's not a walkout, but it's like the emergency window in your basement. So if there were a fire or something, it's sized that you just pop the little grate and you can climb out of it. We thought about seeing about using something like that. We're just going to deal with, we throw them up the stairs. I'll tell you what, if my packages, even holding glass, if they can't handle a little toss up the stairs, then I didn't pack it good enough. They'll never survive USPS. So while it's a pain in the butt, it's probably going to be a pain in the butt for a year, another year, maybe 2 years. And then eventually we'll get a bigger space. So I got to make that money first. You know, I got to get to the point of making that money. But you absolutely, I do, Josie, I actually don't have a mansion. It's probably good size. I'm not going to admit, we've worked very hard to get the house that we're in, but it's not a mansion. I have about 1,200 square feet down here in the basement. Overall. So down in the basement is about 1,200 square feet. You don't, I mean, that's a good size. You can create a good business in there, but you can also utilize your smart ways. It is exercise. Yeah. There's smart ways to utilize, even if you have a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. You can use closets. You can use shelving in your living room and put your inventory as decor. If you're doing like vintage, obviously you wouldn't hang clothes throughout, your whole living room, but with so many walls, which is why it looks so big. Yes, exactly. We don't have quite as many walls here. So it's more of an big open space. Yeah, Josie, I know I lived in Florida for 23 years. A basement, when we moved to Pennsylvania, that was one of our top requirements, is that whatever house we bought had to already have a finished basement. Like we've looked at other ones that didn't, and the price. I redid one room. So over here to my right, or to my left, there's a door. We won't go in it. That was part of the unfinished basement. And I redid that for my husband. It's like a little man cave in there. And just to get that drywall, I did everything but the drywall. And it was crazy expensive just to have the drywall done. I can't imagine moving into a house that has a completely unfinished basement and having to redo the whole thing. That would be super pricey. So anyways, with that, let's recap. Let's see if you guys have any questions. We're going to recap shipping really quick. High level shipping. I'm not going to pull up the spreadsheet, but I'll tell you, just kind of talk it over. He does. SS Vintage Noel has a secret room. So only people who come and visit me get to see the secret room, but there is a secret room for him. Which I have to say, I'm pretty handy. I do a lot of the built-ins in the house. I do all of our flooring. Of course, painting's easy. So I love to do the home improvements, the DIY. In his man cave, it is 16 feet long. And I built a 16-foot built-in all by hand, by myself, the whole thing. And it's really cool. Laid all the flooring, did all of that. It's a pretty nice, it's a small room. It's like 16 by 6 feet. So it's not huge. It's long and narrow, but he likes it. Oh, and it's packed full, yeah. I bought a 12 by 16 storage building and made it my whatnot building for all of it. There you go. You just have to get creative. You have to get creative with what you have. You use the best space you have. I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to expand this. You guys, honestly, I do not like having my work in my home. I wanted separation. I wanted to get up, get dressed, get in my car, and drive to another building every day or walk a couple houses down. I wanted to physically go to another place to do my 9 to 5 and my whatnot every day. This was not my first choice. This made the most sense choice financially with and everything else growth wise. It made the most sense. And sometimes those are the business decisions that we need to make, is that it's not really what I want, but it's what works. It's what makes sense. It's a good compromise. Yeah. They did what? Oh, there's a bank building for sale. It is a separate floor, so it does make it better because now everything is down here. So I can close the basement door. Crystals, yes, we do have a bathroom. We have a full bath. This used to be a guest suite. So where we're at now used to be the guest room. There's a little kitchen area and then there's a private bath. So when we had guests, and then there was like a living area where you can chill and watch TV. So for guests, that was my biggest like heartbreak. I loved having an area that guests can come, and it was like a little apartment for them where they didn't feel like they were impeding in my kitchen or anything like that. Like they had their own space. Now we don't have that. We have a guest bedroom upstairs. Yeah, I love discounts. Basically, where I'm sitting is where they would sleep. We used to have a big king bed in here, and we don't have that anymore. But I still have a bedroom. So those of you who do visit me, and we do have a bedroom still. And we put in walls. There you go. Metagirl, I love that. We looked at doing like a building in our backyard, but we have an HOA and the rules are crazy. So that wasn't feasible for us because I would have had to gone way too many hoops I did not want to deal with. Sometimes the aggravation is not worth what you get out of it. So, okay. We're going to just recap. I promised somebody we're going to recap shipping, and then we're going to go raid for the day so that I can go check out the spot for the PA meetup, and then get back into my 9 to 5 job. I have a building, but not good internet signal, also full of boxes. Crystals, we've been experimenting with, what's it called that you bought? Starlink. We've been experimenting with that. What do you think? Is it working? Is it not working?
So the trick with that is to have unrestricted access to the sky. So basically no buildings blocking, no trees or anything like that. So if you put it on top of a building where it has an unrestricted view of the sky, you should get really good signal. And then all you need to do is just throw a very long cable all the way down to where you are going to be connecting your equipment.
So, I don't know about shopping at thrift stores. Good grief, if you DM my husband, Zoe's T-Mod, he'll be able to talk you through anything and work out the techie stuff.
Yeah, that's the other thing, Ranch and Finds. And I was thinking about yesterday. I went to drop off my vehicle to get the inspection done, and on the way back, it's about a 30-minute ride. On the way back, I tested it out with my family doing a FaceTime call throughout the whole entire ride, and it didn't fail. So it was pretty good. And I was thinking about I love discounts, how much they travel. And I thought that this would be a phenomenal idea for them. So you can have the option for something that you can mount in a vehicle, and it's super easy and it's not super expensive, and it gives you good signal.
They're traveling. I think a lot of people are traveling to the Detroit meetup. So if y'all are going, tell people I said hello. Take pictures. Send me pictures. Go live so we can see what's happening for those of us who can't go. Thrifting Lux Goodies. Can you list items in your camera setup? What's needed for a show and what's best? First of all you need is a telephone and some good lighting. You do not need what we have. You can, but most of what we have has been years and years and years of my husband collecting. This was his business and hobby for years.
So no, it's I've done multimedia for 30 plus years. So throughout the whole entire time, and most recently about 7, 8 years, I started collecting more equipment. So when I retired, I had a lot of equipment that I used to use for my 9 to 5, and it was just sitting there. So when she started doing this, I told her, let's just make use of the equipment, and that's how it started. So there's a lot of cameras that I can give you and a lot of information I can give you, but most of this equipment is more geared to professional use.
What town is a prospective place you're checking out for? Harrisburg. So Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. There's lots of hotel options. There's airport right there. So easy to get in and out of, and it's easy to drive to. It's like, where the main intersections are for the highways that are around here. So if you go to zoe'streasures.com, right now we have very vague information on the meetup, but you also can put your email in there and send it to me to get on a list to get information as we release it. I'll also be talking about it here on these Friday shows. So if you're interested in coming, we are, the one thing that may change right now, it says September 26th. The place that I'm like 90% convinced on that we're about to go look at, they only have October 4th open. So that may be changing. If this place looks good, I'm going to put the deposit down today and we're going to go with this place. But it'll tell you everything here. We have guest speakers for the day. So Green 13, I Love Discounts, Dragonfly Neen, we are all going to be there. It's just a one-day meetup. So a morning of education, breakouts, general sessions, breakfast and lunch will be provided, and then an afternoon of networking. So that's what we plan. There will be a charge for it, but the charge is going to be very reasonable, just enough to cover the cost of food and a little bit of the conference space itself. So I'm trying to keep the charge for it around $25, which I think is reasonable because we're going to feed you. So Crystals, I would love to get as many people as I can. The space is going to hold around 125, 150. I'll confirm that today. So we have enough space. Buyers, sellers, everybody's welcome. Harrisburg. It's going to be in Harrisburg. So any place I'm looking at is in the Harrisburg area. That's just kind of like the one non-negotiable I have. So it's pretty easy to get to. It's not too far of a drive for most people. What? It has an airport. Like there's it meets Harrisburg, just meets all the things. And then if you are into antiquing, vintage decor, Harrisburg is fairly close to Lancaster, which has a ton of sourcing there, a ton of antique stores and stuff. So let's wrap this up with, yes, it is. The flights would be deductible, tax deductible. So if you're coming for a whatnot purpose, you can deduct your hotel and your flights for it. And yeah, it's not, the traffic's not bad, really. It's not. For being the capital of a state, it blew my mind that it's so small for being I'm used to like huge, big old cities. It's not that big. Okay, we're going to wrap up with a quick recap of shipping because I did promise somebody I would do that before we closed. So if you guys were not here at the beginning when I talked about shipping, we have heard so many things. Really quick, PWE is going to 82 cents, so it's up 4 cents. Incrementally up to 16 ounces. There's different prices. All of those are increasing slightly. 1 to 5 pounds is decreasing by $2.01. It's going to be $7.20. Flat rate's going away. Priority will still be there, but the price is probably not going to be beneficial. It's going to be an increased price. Oh, millicents. Thank you. That's a good idea. I will definitely look into that. Don't buy into the hype, you guys. So mainly my whole thing about this was don't buy into the hype. I need to raise my prices. What I did not hear, I heard I need to raise my prices. I can't do max shipping. They should give us free boxes. Yes, flat rate is going away, the lost ledger. As of August 1st, these changes are 5 weeks away. We have 5 weeks to prepare. The message that I wanted to bring through this, I'll bring it back up on the screen one more time so you can see it if you weren't here. The message I wanted to bring, look at your numbers. I preach all the time that you should be looking at your data. Data does not lie. Your numbers don't lie. Do not panic. Do not jump to conclusions. Do not buy into the hype and the hysteria that is going on. You are a business owner, okay? Look at your information. Make an educated decision. We're going to switch over. I'll show you one more time very quickly my information. At the end of the day, this is going to save me money. So what we did here, if you don't know, I've summarized what the new rates are. So PWE is going to be 82 cents, okay? Up to 4 ounces, and you can see 8 ounces, and it goes up and up. 1 to 5 pounds is $7.20. Over 5 pounds will be charged at the commercial rate depending on the zone. The zone is based on the zip code, where it's shipping to from your location. I assumed for this model, that I'm not going to do anything over 5 pounds. I'm going to break those boxes up. Thank you, Millicent. There you go. It's a direct link to get to this announcement on help.whatnot.com. I assume that I'm not going to ship anything over 5 pounds, that if I have boxes, I'm going to break it into 2 shipments or 3 shipments, whatever is necessary. What I did is I took the numbers for last week. I had 158 items sold, 84 packages, 84 shipments. And I said, okay, if last week's numbers, what would that look like under this new model? Under the new model, the total shipping cost based on what Whatnot gave would have been $486. Okay. Then I said, okay, what would the buyer pay? Keep in mind, I only charge $4.50. My max shipping is $4.50. I was very curious on how this is going to affect. Can I continue to do $4.50 max shipping? You will see I have zeros up here because those were sold in free shipping shows. My talk shows are free shipping. So these were things up here that were sold in those shows. Down here were boxes where the 84 shipments that I sold with $4.50 shipping. So total cost under the new model, $486. Buyers at $450 would have paid $229. That means I would have paid projected seller cost. Can you scroll a little bit so we can see the full screen? Nope, too much?
That's too small.
Okay, so that's really small, but they can take a screenshot if then they can enlarge if they want to read it. So there's a chance for a screenshot.
You can swipe to your left 2 times, and that will get rid of not just the chat, but also any buttons that are on the way.
Yeah. Okay. So there's for the screenshot. Now I'm going to kind of go back in here. So let's do this again. $486 would have been the total cost. Buyers would have paid $229 of that, meaning under the new model, I would have paid last week $256. What I actually paid was $387. I actually paid more, $130 more under the current model than I would have had we already been using the new prices. Okay. So by using the new prices come August 1st, I should have about $130 savings. So when people are complaining that they have to buy boxes, I had 84 shipments. If I had to buy 84 boxes at approximately $1 a box, that would be about $84. Well, I saved $130. If I have to spend $184 of the savings, I'm still making money. I'm still saving money. Where does that savings come from? People are going to be like, well, I don't understand where that savings come from. Right here, $126 of that savings comes from the $2 reduction on the 1 to 5 pounds. So when we have the 1 to 5 pounds, if I take 58 packages and I multiply 58 by $2.01, I get like $123. So the majority of that savings comes from that reduction of the 1 to 5 pounds. Okay. Thank you. That's what I wanted to show. So that's a quick summary. I went over that in a lot more detail at the beginning of this. You can always go to YouTube to see it piece by piece. So straight from the heart. Yeah, you can recycle. You can ask friends and family. But I also said, and this is a huge point because I hear so many people saying, well, you can go to Dollar Generals and you can go here and you can drive around and get free boxes. Or you can save yourself the time and do a show and make money to buy boxes. Okay. No business, no legitimate business survives and thrives off of begging people for free things. That's not business. Okay. You want to be a business, you want to do it right, go buy yourself some dang boxes. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh. It's the way it is. Your time is better spent doing a show, making yourself money and buying the appropriate supplies that you need to run your business. So if it's over 5 pounds, you have to split the order or the cost for the second package fully on the seller. No, that it's not that you have to split the order. So for me, because I'm doing $450, anything over $450 is my expense. I've chosen to do that. If you do buyer pays all, they will pay it. What happens when you hit that 5 pounds for USPS ground? Thank you. I'll get to it. So what happens is that the rates go to USPS ground commercial rates. A little bit earlier, Millicent put a link to the Whatnot. If you go to help.whatnot.com, search shipping changes, there is a link in there to those commercial rates. So you can see how much it would cost you for 6, 7, 8, 9 pounds. For simplicity's sake, in order to do an easy projection, I said, okay, I had 12 packages last week that were over the 5 pounds. I'm going to pretend that I just, instead of going over, I split them in two. So I counted that as 24 packages so for projection's sake. And that may be where I go in the future of I'm going to have to play with it just like we do now. I'm going to have to say, oh, I have a 6 pound package. This is how much it cost. Or I can do a new box for $7.20, which works best for me. But I had to pick one way in order to do projections. So would $4.50 max shipping work for new sellers as well? Okay, I missed a comment. Hold on. Before I get to that one, can you use poly bags over the default? Oh, absolutely. Cubs and treasures? Absolutely big resounding no. No, 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 no. It is illegal. Do not do that at all. If you have unused boxes, ask your post office if they'll take them back. Do not cover them up. I don't care who tells you what. It is illegal. Go to the USPS webpage and it tells you it's illegal on their rules. Would $4.50 max shipping work for new sellers too? I would not recommend it immediately. If you were brand new, do buyer pays all for a couple of shows, understand your numbers, and then make an educated decision. You can't make a decision to do reduced shipping without knowing how much that's going to cost you and if you're making enough money to absorb that cost or not. Ultimately, I'm a firm believer in reduced shipping. Ultimately, you should work towards that, is my opinion. There's going to be people who disagree. There's going to be people who say, just make the buyer pay all. You do what's best for your business. Is it easier to buy boxes to meet your needs instead of... Exactly. Southern Charm, so much. It is true. Just buy what you need. Not to mention some boxes are ripped, and used. And, sometimes so reused aren't protected. This is your business. Now, I'm not against reusing a box. Anything that comes into my home from things I order, if it's usable, I will reuse it. But this is the face of your business. Every package you send represents your brand. Do you want it represented from boxes you got out of a garbage bin? Is that really how you want to represent your business? It's just, I can't get over the fact that this is like such a prevalent thing. I'm not against asking friends or family, like, hey, you order from Amazon a lot, drop me off your boxes. But at the end of the day, this represents your business, and there is no other legitimate business out there that goes around begging for free stuff. It just doesn't happen. Oh, Millicents, thank you. That's such a good point. Whatnot says they'll charge $20 fines per package. USPS fees can be $5,000. The $20 fine, if you use a priority tag on if you do it backwards, if you use a ground tag on a priority box, if you use the wrong label, I'm going to have to go read that before I say it again. Go to help.whatnot.com. But they do mention a $20 fine for misuse. Do my own stickers? I'm like, oh, good, Ranch Hand Fines. I didn't know that wrapping a box with black saran wrap was a thing. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a thing that's a bad thing. Absolutely. Do you think, y'all, how often have you used priority boxes? Can you spot a priority box without looking that's priority by the size and the shape? Don't you think that these postal workers can spot them a mile away? You're not fooling anybody. You are absolutely not fooling anybody. They know what you're doing, and it's illegal to do it. And I say illegal in the sense that it is against USPS. It's not a Whatnot thing. It's against USPS. It's a federal thing. It's illegal. So don't do it. Okay, what is it? Virginia, thank you. If you use ground on a priority box, that's what Whatnot said. If you take a ground label and use a priority box, that is a $20 instant fine for you. Just do it right. And I'm going to go back and I'll say it at the beginning and say it again. If you built your business off of selling shipping information, too bad, so sad, sucks to be you. Maybe try not building your business off of something people can get for free. Yeah, people will ship anything. Oh, just think it represents your business. That's all I'm going to say about what you're shipping in it. So with that, you guys, I appreciate you being here. Let me read our CEO affirmation. We close every show with our weekly affirmation. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. primitives. If you like primitives, I will have it loaded by tonight. So There will be some pre-listed so you can get a good feel of what we're bringing for tomorrow. CEO affirmation. I pause mid-year to realign my vision and adjust tax plans proactively, not reactively. Tonight, I'll be back on at 7. We're going to be talking about a mid-year check-in for your taxes. So we're going to be touching on estimated taxes and a couple of other things. But tonight is our mid-year check-in for Tax Focus at 7 p.m. So if you're interested in that, come and see me, or it will also be on YouTube. You can always check out our shows there. And with that, we're going to go find somebody to raid. Thank you all for being here. Time needed to load. Thrifting Lux, not at all. Use CSV. Go. Thrifting Lux. Crystal, are you here? Put your name in there. Say something really quick. Crystal's Vintage Collection. She teaches CSV training. You want to go bookmark some of her shows. Could somebody just tag Crystal so that Thrifting Lux can follow Crystal's really quick? There she is, right there. There's Crystal's. Go check her out. She has training on how to do it. Lifesaver. Game changer. Just check it out. All right. Bye, everybody. We are going to see Liz. Who are we going to see? Green 13. All right, bye.